everybody, it's Gwen Baker, and I am really excited to be back with another edition of the Caregiver Conversation. This one means a great deal because I'm going to be talking with each of my siblings. And to kick it off, I'm starting off with the youngest of the crew, my little brother, Jermaine. So, Jermaine, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, we're sitting outside at Mom and Dad's, and there were often times when you would be outside with them, either taking them around the yard or just sitting and having a conversation. So, tell us what it was like to know that they were well cared for and that you were a part of that process.
That meant the world to me. Being a part of taking care of them and watching each and every one of you do what you do. You know, each one of us played a part in there, and each one played it well. That gave me good satisfaction knowing that that's what they wanted, and that's exactly what they got from each and every one of us. Out here, sometimes is a real challenge. Sometimes you got good days, you got bad days, but the majority of the time, it was always good days. Mom was a handful. She liked to do what she do, and I had a soft spot for her, so I just let her,
You spoiled her, that's what you did.
I got kind of, sort of, but she spoiled us, so back at her.
Awesome. So, Jermaine, as we wrap this up, I want you to tell us about one funny thing that you remember from this process of caring for Mom and Dad.
One funny thing I remember is I don't know if you remember when we were wondering if Mom was taking her medicine, and she said she was taking it, but we found out the bed was actually taking her medicine. She was storing it up under the bed, and we found almost a prescription full of medicine under that bed. So that was pretty funny because she would say she took it, but she took it out of your hand, and that's about it.
That's exactly right.
That was about it.
Right.
Yes.
She was a character like that.
Yeah, she was.
Any last thing you want to say before?
I just want to thank each and every one of you for helping out along with Mom and Dad. I mean, we all did what we were supposed to do, and we gave them what they wanted. Both of them wanted to be here home with us, and that's what we did. And I used to give everybody a thumbs up for doing their job like how they were supposed to.
Absolutely.
So I mentioned to you that my parents had 3 sets of children. So I'm talking now with the younger group, those that are in their 50s. I'm here with my sister, Sherry. Welcome, Sherry.
Hey, sis. Thanks.
Awesome. So glad to have this opportunity to talk with you. So, Sherry, we are sitting here together in Mom's room. It's Mother's Day weekend, of course. There are some memories that are a little bit sad, and then there are some that we share that are really funny and exciting. So what I want you to do is to talk to the people a little bit, because you come to this a little bit differently than the rest of us. Number one, you're a daughter, just like the rest of us, but you also worked in this field. So I want you, based on that, to share one thing with the people that you would tell someone who is now walking out this caregiving journey.
In walking out this caregiving journey, you definitely have to have a big heart, and you have to show love.
Yeah.
And with showing love, that could be a hug, that could be listening.
Yeah.
That definitely could be showing definite patience. And just being there for someone, a listening ear. Just showing love and being there for someone.
That's really good. And, being there, because I know there are a lot of people in my experience who I've learned that they just don't really have community. They don't have family.
Right.
Not necessarily that they don't have family, but family who really spends time with them.
Right.
And so I can see how that one is really big. So tell us about something funny that you remember about the times that you would spend with Mom.
Mom and I love to gossip, and her thing was she loved to tell lies.
Lies? What are lies?
They're little lies.
Ooh.
We would get together and gossip and tell lies.
Wow.
And that was our little funny thing, and we would cackle.
Yes, y'all would.
We would cackle all through the night
Mm.
sometimes. And so
Yeah.
I know that if you or the other sisters were here, you would all wonder what we were laughing
Yeah, I'd hear you
about.
on the monitor.
Yes,
Absolutely.
but we were gossiping and just having fun.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
yeah,
Yeah, I always love when you were here and I would hear mom laugh. There's nothing like just hearing her have a little laughter and joy. And so I appreciate you being who you are in her life and bringing that joy to her. So important.
thank you.
Awesome. So, there you have it. Sherry, the youngest of the crew. Mom was always looking for her two young ones, Sherry and Jermaine. And so you've had an opportunity to hear from them. Thank you again for sharing, Sherry. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, sister.
So this is my oldest sister, Pat. I play around with the plants, but Pat is really the one who inherited mom's green thumb when it comes to the plants, to growing veggies, all of those things. And so I'm excited to talk with her a little bit today. Thank you for being with me, Pat.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So talk to us a little bit about the plants.
Okay, well, greetings and blessings to everyone.
Yeah,
It's a pleasure to be in the number one more time.
yeah.
And we missing mom,
Mm-hmm.
but as we always say, she gave us blessings and teachings that's still with us and that will remain with us
Mm-hmm.
at all times.
Absolutely.
She was one of the inspiration for me getting into planting ever since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She's always had a garden with vegetables. I remember peanuts,
Mm-hmm.
greens, okra, especially okra. Um, so many veggies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and she would, even with all the jobs that she's had and the rearing of all of her 8 children, she still took the
Yeah.
time to garden,
Mm-hmm.
grow her vegetables
Yeah.
and fruit trees. So this is an inspiration. My brother built this basket on the wall, and we have plants in here that will go dormant, but we try to plant perennials that'll come back.
Right.
And just what you have here just came back from the cold.
Wow.
Um, we have some mint,
Oh,
purple queen,
wow.
and the mint is very fragrant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can get some of that, drop into your
And some
tea.
tea.
Yeah.
And we have some snapdragon,
Yeah.
petunias, and
Awesome.
yeah,
So that's just in the basket right here by the house. Let's walk a little bit and look at some of the other things that you actually have available. All right. So let's go over and, oh, you want to tell us about that?
yeah, here we have some celery.
All right. Yeah.
Whenever we get done with the stump of celery, we cut the
Mm-hmm. Bottom off of it. Okay.
and put the bottom in here and just let it go.
Awesome.
Other plants.
Yeah. One of the things I loved about being here and cooking was I could just step outside and grab a piece of rosemary, or, you mentioned the mint, that we could just come outside and grab those things. And we're able to do that because of things that mom taught us. So that's an awesome experience. All right. There's some fruit trees on the yard and all of those things. So we're going to talk a little bit more. Talk and tell about what some of these are.
Okay. Out here is a plum tree that mom planted years ago, and it is bearing plums galore.
Yes. Yeah. I ate plums to my heart's content last season. I think we all know that.
Here is a mulberry tree that started a project on
Yeah.
in 2014. I planted this tree.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
from a little thing that came in a box here, and I asked mom where I could plant it, and we planted it here. Planted it here, and it has been yielding fruit for years. I mean, it's not.
So what do you do with mulberries? They're sweet. They do look like blackberries. So do you make like a cobbler or something?
Any way you use blackberries or berries,
Uh-huh.
raspberries. That's how
Okay.
you can use
Right.
mulberry. Or you
Ooh.
can just eat them. Here is the grape harbor. This grape
Yes.
harbor has served her on many occasions. Whenever she would go to the church
Yeah.
functions, they would be looking for those
Yeah.
scubanone or muscadine
Uh-huh.
grapes. She would bag them up,
Yeah.
sell them, or just give them away. I mean,
Mentioned that, and it brought back a memory how mom never was without her reports, because she would take stuff that you see growing, whether it was the plum, whether it was the grapes, and she would bag them up and sell them and make sure that she could make whatever report, church anniversary or whatever. So yeah,
yeah,
wow, all kinds of memories.
yeah.
Awesome. So Pat, you are the person who was here with mom.
Mm-hmm.
Others of us, we were on our way, but you were actually here with her when she transitioned.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want you to just talk very briefly. We won't spend a lot of time on just how that has impacted you. The fact that you were able to be here with her to the end.
Oh, it has been. I'm still processing it actually.
Yeah.
Because to see your mom, slip away from you,
Yeah.
was very hard. And there are many nights, you know, I wake up if I go to sleep because I haven't been sleeping well. I haven't
Yeah.
been eating, after that, after her passing. It's just the emptiness inside. Even when I walk in the house, in the door, look down the hall, it's very hard. The quietness and during those times that I was in the house by myself, um, just the quietness and her not being, and then looking in the room and not seeing her in there. It's definitely hard. Definitely hard to
Yeah.
process.
It's so interesting that you said that, because that's where the book really started for me, is processing the silence. I called it the silence that came after her departure, because we were also involved in her caretaking. And so I definitely understand, what you mean when you talk about the silence and walking in and not seeing them anymore. And so it takes time. And so, certainly want you to give yourself time. We don't want to get stuck, but we have to give ourselves time to process it. And the final part of the book was talking about learning to live again, and that becomes so important, that we find ways that we can move forward and live again. And so I talked about how the gardening is a part of that for me.
That's
And
therapy.
yeah, this is definitely very therapeutic. So I'm talking now with the second oldest of the group. She is also in that 70s crew, Dee. Thank you for the opportunity.
Welcome to be here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, Dee, I want you to talk a little bit about your experience of coming to the house with none of our parents here.
Well, I had the chance to experience the house with Dad gone about a year and a half, then Mom transitioned, and I stayed behind after all of my siblings had left for about 6 days, and I felt sad and lonely, and the house was just so empty. You could hear a pin drop, and I found myself going through the empty nest syndrome twice when my children and grandchildren left home, and now my parents. I thought it was something you would experience only once in a lifetime, but I did not know you would experience that. And I found myself feeling like I was a little child left at home alone. And it really hurt.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you say that, because, and the way that you describe it is essentially the same thing that I did, but in very different terms. And so to think about it as almost being an empty nest syndrome is pretty interesting. And even with the book, it started out for me processing what I refer to as the silence that came after caregiving, because we were so ingrained in taking care of two parents that when we no longer had to do that, it really was silence. And I describe the silence as being deafening. And, it's kind of an oxymoron, like how can silence be deafening? But it was just so loud. The absence was so loud. So I definitely understand, when you describe it in that manner. Now, I want you to just talk about
one funny thing that you remember from the caregiving process? Because both mom and dad were hilarious, on the days that they were feeling well. Talk about one funny thing you remember.
One that really sticks out, that my mom was trying to tell me that she wanted a piece of gum one day. And it took me 15 minutes to realize what she was asking.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I asked her, to take a napkin and wipe her nose in the napkin instead of her arms. And she told me, "Thank you very much. You're a real nosy girl." And then she turned around and said, "Oh, I mean a real nosy young lady." And that was so funny because I couldn't understand why it was so easy for her to say you're a nosy young lady or a nosy girl. But it was so hard for me to comprehend what she was saying when she was asking for some gum.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
That she was able to get that out plain, but it was hard for her to express the fact that she was trying to ask for some chewing gum.
Yeah.
And then I realized that my mom was still in there. She might have had dementia, but she was still there.
Yeah. Oh, she is absolutely there. And you mentioned dementia, and we haven't really talked a whole lot specifically about dementia, but one of the things that I do know about dementia is sometimes they reach for words. And so when you're talking about, not being able to communicate about the gum, sometimes there are just certain words that doesn't come as easily, as, other words come. And so, that may have been a part of it, but yeah. So I'm here with another one of my siblings. She falls into that 60s group like I do. I won't tell you whether she's younger or older. Anyway, welcome, Briss. So happy to have this conversation here. Awesome. So I want to ask you to tell us about one thing about this caregiving journey that was surprising to you, and just what you learned from it.
Actually, what was extremely surprising to me was the fact that I was able to care for mom and dad to the degree that I did, even to the point of them, like I was here when dad passed away, and I had just left a few hours before mom. And as you go through life, you think that you're not strong enough to deal with losing a parent. But I was amazed at how God gave me the strength. And I wanted to be here, because I can remember getting the call from you saying that hospice was here and they didn't think that dad was going to make it. And one prayer I had was, "Lord, help me to get there before he leaves and don't let him suffer." And so the thing that was very surprising to me was that he gave me strength and I had the desire to be there and to be close and to also make sure that the enemy did not steal their souls. I felt like it was part of my job to make sure that they were ready to cross over.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's so interesting. We're all so different and we brought something different. You talked about how you wanted to be here. I wanted to be here while they were alive and alert that knew that I was present. But my thing about being here at the end and not wanting to see them suffer, because I didn't know what that departure process would look like. And so even in that, we could see how the diversity in what we do really helped us to get through this caregiving process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me, anything else that you have thought about that you want to share just about that experience in this journey?
I really became to understand, and not that I didn't understand, but I understood at a different level what it meant when the Bible tells us that we are to honor our mother and father, that our days would be long on the land. And it really took me to another level of faith as well, because everything about our lives changed. We had to make the sacrifice of where, thank God, I was at the age of where I could come off of my job and retire early. And then in a few years, I could begin to draw Social Security. And the Lord tremendously blessed me and blessed us throughout that process. And I even look at the fact of how he used my daughter and my son-in-law to honor me as I was honoring my mother and father. So like I said, it took me to a different level of faith, even walking through that process.
Ooh, you said so much, and there are a lot of things that I can build on that. And I'm not going to do it here, but you talk about the faith, you talk about the financial impact, and a lot of times people don't really talk about that. But there is a huge cost. I call it the hidden cost
Yes.
of caregiving, and maybe at some point you'll go more into that. But I love what you said about how God allowed your children to honor you, even
Yes.
as you honored your parents. And that's one of the things that the book kind of opened with too, was that scripture about honoring your mother and your father. So you brought it kind of full circle. So talk about one funny thing.
Okay. I could say it was like maybe a week, maybe a week and a half before mom passed away. She was having a kind of a rough time on I can remember it specifically. It was a Thursday evening, and she loved peanuts. Everybody in the family knows she loved green peanuts. And before she went to bed this particular Thursday night, she said, "Oh, I'm going to the store in the morning." Well, in my mind, I'm saying, "You're going to the store?" Okay. Mind you, I wanted to go to work that day because Pat was coming in to relieve me. So I said to myself, whenever Pat gets here, I'm gonna get dressed and I'm going to work. So she just kept talking about going to the store. Had no idea what store, but she was going to the store. And when I thought that I was going to get up that morning,
Right.
to get dressed and get out of here and go to work, she was wide awake at 7 a.m. and she was ready to go to
Wow.
the store. I couldn't say anything, but hey, we're taking her to the store.
Right.
But she was so upset and she was so adamant. I am not getting dressed. Y'all are taking me to the store just like this. I'm not putting on no clothes. All I need is a jacket. Mom, you need to change clothes. No, ma'am, I am not changing clothes. Put a jacket on me and we are going to the store.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, ma'am. And guess what? Needless to say, she went to the store.
She did.
So yeah, she was a pistol.
She was large and in charge
In
right
charge.
until the end. And I really doff my hat to my sisters for taking her on that little field trip, if you will.
Oh my goodness.
Because at that stage, I really understand what it took, to really get her dressed and to get her out. And so I doff my hat to the two of you for that. And one of the last experiences I had was to help her eat some of those peanuts that y'all took her out to buy that day.
And we got a good spanking after we came home. Oh, and I have to share this. When we talk about the aspect of dementia and the different things that it entails, that same particular day, she was so angry with Pat and I because she wanted to go to her house. She didn't recognize this house as her house, and she wanted to go. So we kept telling her, "Mom, you're at home." So she got so angry with us. She said, "Call my sister, Mother Rivers. Her number is 553." And we were floored because that is indeed her number. And so, Pat and I just looked at each other like, oh my God, what is this that we're dealing with? So yeah, she was quite the pistol.
Yeah. Wow. What a journey it has been, but we're so grateful to God.
So grateful.
As you said, that He gave us the strength to keep our promise. They wanted to remain in their home. And we promised them that barring some situation that did not allow it to happen, that we would do that.
Yes.
And God gave us the strength through our own aches and pains, and surgeries, through whatever it is that we dealt with. He gave us the strength to do it. And so we're grateful. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you all for listening to us as we shared a little bit of our journey.
And we're so proud of her.
Thank you.
Our big brother Rob was not able to be with us over Mother's Day weekend. I just want you to know how much we appreciate that leadership, your sacrifice, and everything that you contributed along this journey. We love you. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. We appreciate your support so much. And we just want to ask you that you would continue to share this out so that those who did not get an opportunity to see it tonight can see it in the replay. And if you're joining us in the replay, please let us know that you stopped in. Now, if you're in the Low Country, then I invite you to join me on this Saturday, June 20th, from 12 until 2 at the Turning Page Bookshop in Goose Creek. You'll see the flyer that gives you the additional details, but I would love to see you. Stop in. Let's take pictures. Let's get some hugs and love on each other. I will sign books and just look forward to a time of fellowship. Hope to also read a little bit out of the book while we are there as well. So again, I want to thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And I pray that God will bless you richly. Have a wonderful